This video contains my notes on standard cost. Many companies will set expectations for how much certain expenses should cost and hopefully will cost. So for instance, if you're running a business that makes frozen pizzas, right? A lot of different frozen pizza companies out there. But if you're running a business that's making frozen pizzas, you're likely going to have an expectation for direct materials. In other words, when we make a pizza, what's the standard amount of dough that we should use? What's the standard amount of cheese? What's the standard amount of pizza sauce? In other words, we want all of our cheese pizzas to be pretty well identical. You know, we don't want some to be gigantic and others to be tiny and some to have lots of cheese and some to have almost no cheese. We want it to be pretty well identical and standardized because that way our customers will get used to the idea of this is what this pizza looks like, tastes like, and how much cheese it has on it and so forth, and then they can decide if they like it or not. So in terms of materials, you're going to have an expectation of, for a cheese pizza, this is the amount of cheese that we're going to put on it. And that's going to go on every pizza so that they're all the same. These expectations in accounting are commonly called standards, right? There are expectations for what we're going to spend to make a pizza. In other words, if I'm always putting the same amount of dough in a pizza, and I'm always putting the same amount of sauce, and I'm always putting the same amount of cheese, and I know what I pay for the dough and the cheese and the sauce from my suppliers, then I'll know exactly how much it costs to make a cheese pizza. At least I'll know how much it should cost to make a cheese pizza. And then I can determine my sales price based upon that and hopefully make a consistent profit because I have standards. I know that a cheese pizza should cost $4 to make because we always use $1.50 of dough and $1.50 of cheese and $1 of tomato sauce, or whatever it is. And so they should all cost the same amount. Now, standards sound a lot like budgets because both of them are kind of like what we think is going to happen. The difference is that standards are expressed per unit, like per pizza. This is how much cheese is going to cost per pizza. While budgets are expressed in total, like this is how many dollars we expect to spend purchasing direct materials for the month of November. Budgets are always in total, and standards are always per unit, whether that's per pizza or per pair of jeans or whatever I'm manufacturing. Now, in a manufacturing setting, there's normally standards for direct materials, direct labor, and overhead. So I've already talked about the materials. There would be standards for direct labor as well. So for instance, if Toyota knows it has to put tires on the Camrys when it manufactures them, it's going to have to install 4 tires. And it's going to develop an idea of how long that should take, right? And then if we know how long that should take and we know what we're paying the person to put the tires on, then we'll have a standard as what the direct labor cost is for the tires being installed on the Camry. I'm not talking about purchasing the tires themselves, but I'm talking about just getting the tires installed on the vehicle. That's a labor issue. So let's say that Toyota pays the person on the assembly line $25 per hour. And it takes 30 minutes to put the tires on a Camry. Just to make numbers up, I have no idea how long this should take. Well, that means it's going to take a half an hour of labor. So the standardized labor cost would be $12.50 for the installation of the tires. Now, again, I'm not talking about the cost of the tires. That's a different issue. But the installation of the tires should be $12.50 to put them on the Camry. It's what it costs to put them on. So we have to buy the tires, and then we have to pay somebody to put them on. So putting them on is going to cost $12.50. That's assuming that we're paying the person $25 an hour, and they get the job done in our expected time of 30 minutes, or half an hour, so 25 times 0.5.